if you've read the book It and are watching It Welcome to Derry, then you're probably eagerly anticipating the major event that happens at the Black Spot. But is it possible that they could be pulling a major switcheroo on us that dramatically diverts from that storyline? We're going to talk about it. Spoilers ahead for episode 3 and for the book. So go watch episode 3 first. That said, grab a drink because it's Derry o'clock. I'm Kelly. My heart burns in your shoes, Keen.
I'm Jazz, astronaut pea pants shamanic.
And I'm Dawn. I'll have some mud pie, Glenn.
I would like some mud pie.
I would take anything that Taylor Page served to me.
Yeah.
Taylor Page or Charlotte Hanlon, either one. Hey, man, Dick told her that Dick complimented her on her cooking. So, and he's a cook in the book at least. But who knows? They might have removed that talent from his character in the show. But I mean, I'm assuming it's a high compliment.
I feel like they've got to keep him as a cook because that's a major part of his character and other Stephen King works too.
Yeah, but I mean, he doesn't die in the book. But yet Stanley Kubrick killed him off.
Yeah.
He actually he rescued Wendy and what's his name? Why am I forgetting? Danny.
Danny, yeah.
Yeah, he rescued Wendy and Danny.
This is a parallel timeline, which is like 2 years different to the original Kubrick timeline.
If you are not familiar with how we work here, we basically just kind of do a breakdown of our favorite moments and our not so favorite moments, as well as our MVP and LVP, and maybe do a little theorizing at the end. We are going to get to that theory that I teased in the beginning. I promise, because it's kind of if this theory ends up panning out, it's going to be extremely controversial, and I'm not sure how I feel about it, but we'll get into it. I'm excited because this is the first episode where I actually have major criticism. I love going into
it is the slowest of the bunch.
Yeah, it is. But let's. Dawn, do you want to start with giving us your who are you throwing into the Deadlights?
Who's my LVP or MVP? Are we on
LVP?
LVP first.
LVP is Deadlights.
Yeah. I really struggled with this one because I've changed my mind several times, but in the end, I'm going to go with Francis as an adult, for lying to Rose. When he saw it again, the first time in what did he say, 50 years? Yeah. And I was like, yay! And I was excited to see their connection and understand their relationship. And I thought, okay, he knows the truth of what's going on. She knows the truth. And yet he lied to her. And I was like, damn it! I thought you were going to be a good general.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, that's just laid the foundation for a huge chasm to open up between the groups of people. And I was like, that was one of these sliding doors moment where if you told the truth and the two of you could be connected and go forward and whatever, but no, there's lies, and so there's no way that the tribe are going to come together and work with the military, and it's all going to be awful. So it was one of those moments where he did a small thing which is going to have a huge effect.
Yeah, he's really the major agent of chaos in this show.
Yeah.
Jazz, what about you? Who's your
same answer?
Oh.
I'm sorry. Not only did Rose save his life from this being of unspeakable horror that nearly killed him, but his plan is to manipulate her so he can go and drop it on some innocent town in Asia.
Yeah.
What a flippin' psycho. Like, I don't I've said this a bunch of times. People keep calling the whole army plotline far fetched, and I'm like, not for the U.S. Army. Well, you think if the U.S. Army could come to Sunnydale and round up a team of vampires, they would not do that? It's literally one of the plot lines on Buffy. Like, I would never count the U.S. Army out for doing anything that they could find at their disposal. I
They
just
were
don't
trying to
understand
build
why
they
he.
tried to build psychic soldiers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happened. I said that'll work.
I feel like it's a lazy answer for mine because like, I swear I think he's gotten it every single week for me, but Bowers, man, like, what an absolute dick.
At least he actually did some police work this week instead of just arresting the nearest spy black guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I
I
mean,
thought
runner up to the so-called witness
yeah.
who called it in, but
Don, your hair looks poppin'. Sorry, I
Oh,
should have
thank you.
mentioned that earlier. But I love
By the
I'm
way, I'm
you're
just
it.
here.
listening to this.
Yes.
If you're listening to this, go check out our YouTube video so you can see
Thank you.
Dawn's beautiful pink hair.
Thank you. I'm just saying I'm only here as a ringer. I'm a substitute for a week just in case Jazz was unable to go
You
through with it.
cannot hear how awful I sound. Yeah,
So if
I
you
Yeah.
almost didn't make it.
if she suddenly pulls a calf muscle mid episode, I can carry on for her.
I'd
Yeah,
probably
there you
just
go.
fall asleep sitting here at the remote. You guys just keep rolling.
There you go. All right. So yeah, Bowers I'm throwing into the Deadlights.
Mhm.
And man, like what a generation, what a so many generations of assholes in the Bowers family.
Hmm.
God, who gets your Maturin award this week?
I'm going to give it to Dale for his work on the plane, nearly um
Oh,
ending
Dick?
itself. You know that he's sorry, Dick. Did I say Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dick. Dick on the plane, and you know he's nearly losing everything, and I think he it's a moment of realization of, oh dear, what's happening. Somebody should be aware that this is maybe a bad idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Somebody should
understand
be
why
talking
more
about that.
people aren't concerned. They're calling it the entity. Not a great start.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Um
You know that Bing of unspeakable horror we're trying to wrangle up in the
Yes.
woods?
Yeah, but it'll be fine. It'll totally be fine.
yeah. It'll totally be cool. Jazz, what about you? Who gets your Maturin award?
My Maturin is freaking Rose. Um, she should have left that kid to die. She how many times did she tell him to stop?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many times did she tell him to stop?
Yes.
And then she had to go save him anyway because she's a hero, and that's what the good people do.
Yes.
But she should have just let him get eaten by that old naked twisting man, and it would have saved everyone a lot of grief.
I so wanted him to when he caught up to Francis, I so wanted him to get in his face and say, "You shouldn't have run into the woods, Francis."
Right?
Doug Hughes, man, somebody give Doug Hughes a rom-com role or something because so far I've seen him as the man in yellow and this fucking terrifying ass woods
Oh,
creature.
crap. I didn't even realize that was the same guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. He's
yeah.
gross.
I when he first
It just
appeared,
weighs on him.
I didn't find him that scary at first because to me he looked like the BFG.
Once he started growing and was
Yeah.
on all fours, I was
Yeah,
like,
that
"Okay,
was
this shit's gonna give me nightmares."
yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I'm giving mine to Rose as well. I also, in addition to her just being super brave and going into the woods to save him, in addition to that, like, I really appreciated the Beverly parallel there because, like, Beverly had amazing aim, and she, like, she used a slingshot to hurl, I think it was, did she use earrings or did she, I can't remember what it was, but she hurled something at Pennywise and it's like, it,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, it was
got him
like
in the head.
yeah, because it was like silver, wasn't it? It was like they thought maybe
Yeah,
silver bullets could yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, and I thought it was a nice, parallel to Beverly, which I appreciated because they kinda, like,
They didn't really do that in the movies.
no, I
That
know.
really bummed me out that she didn't really have a slingshot. I just watched 2 for the first
Yeah,
time, like, a couple days ago.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was fun.
Mike and Beverly kinda got the shaft in the
Yeah,
movie.
how did Mike get his whole career stolen?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he also got screwed he also got screwed in the original too, though, because he got, like, he gathers everybody together, he's the historian, and then he
Uh-huh.
gets attacked by fucking Henry Bowers and spends the rest of the the miniseries in the hospital.
Mhm.
Doesn't get to do any of the other cool shit. So at least he got that, but still, I mean, they scrapped so much of his story, it was crazy. Um, but yeah, I thought that was awesome. I really liked the girl that played young Rose.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, all right, let's go to our bottom fives. Jazz, why don't you start? What's your bottom five?
Um, not a freak show. Like, oh, man. I
Mhm.
get it, it's time period appropriate.
Yeah.
Um, Also, like, the freaks were just kinda whack. They were like they, like, weren't they were like, "Oh, here's a lady with, like, some extra long skin on her arm," and, like, it was they weren't really, I don't know, I feel like if they were gonna go that route with it, they should have upped the horror of those
Mm,
like you said, he kinda did look like the BFG in the
mhm.
it's just, like, that whole attraction is just an old man with one eye sitting in the dark. Ooh. Yeah, I
Honestly,
was
I thought the David Crosby Carnival Barker was scarier.
yeah.
Yeah.
That dude totally looked like David Crosby after a rough night.
That's
I would have loved to have cut that all together and spent more time with James and Rose and
mhm.
have it turn into James's dad
Yeah.
would have been
Yeah.
more effective and interesting and a better use of that. I also I mean we all at this point should be not using the word freak show anymore.
Yeah.
Should not be around anymore. I hope. It's a gross concept. This lady has extra facial hair. Woo! Come
Yeah,
marvel at
seriously.
her. Um, yeah, that was my number 5.
All right. Dawn, what about you? What's your
Yeah.
number 5?
Mine is why was a school nurse giving a girl just released from mental health facility alcohol? When Lily goes to the bathroom, it's like, I've got this from the school nurse for you, and it's a bottle of rubbing alcohol. And I thought, was it just that easy? You just go up to the school nurse and go, hey, can I get some rubbing alcohol? She goes, sure, he's whole bottle. There you go.
Right? Yeah, that was a little weird. That was kinda
Yeah.
weird. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man.
did she swipe it? I mean, if she'd stolen it, that would, that would have been said. So if she just said, "Oh, I swiped this from the school office or whatever," um,
Or maybe it
yeah,
was maybe the school nurse was actually the one who farted in the bathroom in episode 1,
Uh,
and she, like, she gave it to her to stay quiet.
a bribery gift, nice.
Yes. "Don't tell anybody I farted, and I'll give you a bottle of alcohol."
that's a good trade.
Yeah.
I would take it.
Nothing says it's suitable for working in a school than bribing children.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Um, my number 5 is, speaking of, um, the freaking patty cake assholes writing Hank Patrick Hankey
Yeah,
to Fry. That's they're so mean,
they're
man.
awful.
Mhm.
But
Mm,
you know what though? I kind of appreciate that, like, because in the book and the movie and the miniseries, it was Henry Bowers and his buddies, and
mm, mm.
they were extremely violent, like willing to kill violent.
Yeah,
And now we've got girls, and I kind of appreciate that they're different kind of bullies. It's more
yeah.
realistic because
It's more insidious kind of
yeah,
bullying, isn't it?
Yeah,
Bullying, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
It's
liked that it was written in lipstick. That was really, I don't know, that made it more believable, and then
mm,
it was harder to get rid of than like poster paint or watercolor paint, which kids would have access to. I thought that was quite a good touch.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, all right. Jazz, what is your number 4?
the entire plan of taking a picture in the graveyard, them saying, "What have we got to lose?" And I'm like, "You had 3 friends get eaten by a demon baby. Limbs, the remainder of your sanity, your young, short lives. Like, I can think of a handful of things you could lose real
Yeah,
easy." Like, I don't know. Seems like I get that they have limited options. Um, I just don't even think that would have been my like eighth idea. Like, I can't
yeah,
imagine where that would fall on the list. Just let's try to take a picture of it with an old tiny flash camera that you have to aim perfectly to get like a
yeah.
visible photograph.
But see,
Yeah.
the thing is, like, it's never gonna. I think their best. I honestly think that their best bet is I think I think General Shaw possibly, or Rose, one of the adults who knows about it,
Mhm.
could end up stepping
Seeing
in,
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
and could end up saving Hank because they they've seen it, like, the other adults don't see it because they didn't run into it as a child, and adults don't have those same fears. The whole thing is they wanted to, Ronnie said that Mr. Keen, different spelling, by the way. Ronnie said that, like, if they took it to Keen's to get developed, then
mhm,
they'd never get him back. But,
Mhm.
I mean, I think their best bet is for somebody like Rose or Shaw to step in,
mhm,
who has seen this.
Did
And
mhm.
you notice that they only got pictures of Tommy and Susie again,
Mhm,
and
yeah.
Phil and Mike are still MIA?
mhm,
Yeah. Yeah,
Mm.
I did notice that. I noticed that. I was paying close attention to that. I think it is possible that they could still be alive.
mhm, mhm.
Mm.
So yeah, anyway, patty cakes, yeah, that's my number 4. Um, Dawn, did you give your number 4 already, Dawn?
I no. Mine is again related to the scene in the bathroom, is that Lily and Ronnie just made up so quickly that that Lily came with the camera and everything already. I would have liked to have seen something in between to see Lily coming up with other, after she speaks to the housekeeper, coming up with an
Mhm.
idea about the camera, how she gets a camera. And maybe it was cut, I don't know. It just seemed all too sudden for me. I wanted something more about that storyline of how she realized, no, we need to get proof. And obviously the housekeeper puts it in her mind by saying, they only believe what they see. But I would have liked something in between that to sort of take us to, and then more of Ronnie forgiving her.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate how important it is to Lily to like make up
Hmm.
to Ronnie what
Yeah.
happened. Like I appreciate that she feels guilt about it and is trying to fix it the best way that she can.
My number 4, I felt like the pacing was a little wonky this episode.
Hmm.
Um, I I mentioned it, like, I think a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Yeah, I think it was episode 2 or 3 where the pacing was a little wonky," and it wasn't episode 2, I freaking loved episode 2. But yeah, I felt like it's a little wonky. It just kind of, like, I felt like more time could have been spent on other things and less time on other things. Um, but, like, I actually would have liked more of I would have liked a longer conversation, actually, and this is probably gonna be an unpopular opinion, but I kinda wish that the conversation between, um, Shaw and Fuller was a little bit longer,
Hmm.
um, because I'm just really fascinated, by, like, what by Fuller being in on this and what the fuck he knows.
Hmm.
I'm guessing he's another former Derry kid, maybe? Like, or Shaw just, like, figured out a way to convince him that it's real. I'm not sure. But
Mm.
but I mean, it was like he was totally on board, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, How is that even possible? I really liked the scene between Hank and, and Bowers, but I wish they had made it either more valuable or shorter.
Hmm.
Because I felt like there was a lot of beating around the bush in there. But it was great. I forget the actor's name who plays Hank now, but he's so good.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
fantastic. I love him. Um,
Love.
I yeah, like, I honestly felt like some of the kid scenes, they coulda chopped in half.
Hmm.
I mean, the cemetery scene I thought I had good things and bad things to say about it, but I felt
It was
like
long.
it was long. It felt like, and they kept losing the camera, and it's like, what, can't this be more
Stop!
efficient?
Stop stealing from my list of worsts.
Put the freaking string around your wrist. That's what it's
Yeah,
there for.
I know, I know. Yeah, so I don't know, the pacing for me was just a little weird. Um, but, yeah, so that's that. Jazz, what's your number 3?
Uh, I already said this earlier. I should have reread my list before I did this. But them literally using the phrase, "What do we have to lose?" Bad choice of words all around.
Yeah,
So many things, all the things.
Mm,
I don't want to reiterate it anymore. But the fact that they like this is it's not a great phrase to begin with when you're gonna do something dangerous, but like you're doing something really dangerous.
yeah,
Like you could get eaten. There
I
are
yeah.
multiple things to lose.
I had this further up my list, but I'll just move it to this spot so I can talk about it at the same time. That was mine. Was the fact that they're running from ghosts like, oh, scary ghosts, when they've already seen somebody being eaten. It doesn't have
Yeah.
the same impact. Like it's the kind of thing you would think, first of all, where you go, oh, a ghost can't hurt you, it's fine, and for the audience, I mean, and then go, oh, wait a minute, they're being eaten. But now we know the children have been eaten, and they know that it felt like it was something Scooby-Doo-ish, scary
Mhm.
Yeah.
ghost. It didn't feel as impactful after what they've already seen, which it seemed really odd. So because it wasn't scary because of that, because of what
Yeah.
they've already experienced. So yeah, I had that on my worst list. It was higher up, but I'll I'll move it down just so it's at the same time.
So that's your
Good
number
to
3 then?
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, my number 3 was okay, this kind of actually goes into the pacing thing, but it's like the episode was extra long. Why did we need the whole, like, okay, it's fine, they're gonna do the whole Santeria thing, but why did we need to have, like, Rich bullshitting them and, like, I don't understand, like, I just thought it was so weird and unnecessary. Um, yeah, I mean, was it just a way for them to have him see his uncle in the cemetery? I mean,
Mm,
like, I don't know.
Well,
It was just
I think the point was that he was trying to help Will and Ronnie get together.
mm,
oh,
Like,
okay.
but he didn't really like. He has a vague idea of what Santori is supposed to be, but he doesn't really know how to do it.
Yeah.
So he's just like using what little bits of knowledge he has and making up the rest as it goes. And yeah, that's not a great plan. If you ever familiar with Santeria.
That kid is such a good little actor.
I
Um,
love Rich. She's
I
so
do too.
funny.
I do too. Like, I love when he got up and he was like, "I thought you said that you could leave the circle." He's like, "Yeah, if you can if you come back really quick."
peeing
Really
doesn't
sweet.
count.
By the way, I because I'm from Chicago, I felt like I had to point out this since I just brought up Rich. I'm pretty sure he had a photo of a White Sox player hanging up an autograph photo of a White Sox player hanging up in his locker. I'm pretty sure it was Minnie Minoso. You couldn't really see it too close, but it looked like Minnie Minoso. All right,
Mm-mm.
Jazz, what's your number 2?
Um, this is probably gonna make my list every week, but the freaking Derry PD, they are the worst. Solve
Yeah.
one crime. How about? No, you won't, because they're all full of it juice,
Yep.
and all you do is antagonize people. I did really love the scene of him and Ronnie's dad. I'm so out of it. Sorry. I feel like I'm talking in like slow motion. Um, I really did love the scene with him and Ronnie's dad. I thought it was really like an interesting interrogation scene.
Mm.
Um, but man, those guys are grimy. Just grimy to the max. And they know he didn't do it.
Yeah.
They know he didn't do it, but they just don't care. And that's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Thumbs
know,
down, Jerry PD.
I and what's funny is they've been consistently terrible across the book and across all adaptations, with the exception of Officer Nell, who was like the one cool cop who was in the miniseries who stopped them when they were trying to build the dam, and he was like telling them, that it's not safe for them to be out here,
Mhm.
and they told him about a girl who had gone missing, and Thelma Daniels. Um, they told them that this girl Thelma Daniels had gone missing, and he told them, if you're going to come down here, make sure you come together. And he was like, the one exception to the awful Derry PD.
I'm glad there's one out there.
Yeah. um, Dawn, what about you? What's your number 2?
It's what you mentioned earlier, the camera dropping. It annoyed me so much. Could no one take more than one photograph? And as you said, Jazz, put the thing strap round your wrist. Put it round your wrist. Why is it so hard? And even
Yeah.
when it was like rolling down the hill, and I'm like, I started to think, oh, is Pennywise controlling it? And like, there's going to be a reveal of the camera is actually, you know,
Mhm.
so he's using it for some other purpose. But then, no, it was just kids being useless. Um, and the convenient way that it rolled to each one after the other, I was like, oh, come on. I just don't like when it's something, when people are written to behave in a way that isn't natural, and then conveniently it's fixed for them. You know what I mean? The way that
Mhm.
things are crafted that way. I'm like, no. Because I thought it was just going to hang on the tree and then they would have to come back in daytime and come and get it. But no,
Yeah.
never mind.
My number 2 is you had mentioned it earlier, but the Shaw Shaw lying to Rose. Like,
Mhm,
he
Mhm.
remembers her, and, he seems to remember her fondly. She saved his life when he was a kid, and then yeah, and then he just, like, he had forgotten about her until he saw her name on the cease and desist, and his first thought, he's like, he remembers her, and then his first thought is, "Okay, I'm gonna manipulate her and lie to her." I'm
That's
like,
my
"Oh,
number
God."
one.
Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, it's my number one as well.
Oh, nice. I have it just as the disenfranchisement of the indigenous population. Like,
Yeah.
how are you gonna remember that this girl is like not only saved your life, but is also like your first crush, and that her
Mhm,
people have been the stewards of this land, keeping everyone safe from this monster as possible for all of history,
Yeah.
and you're gonna just fuck that up for the army?
yeah.
What? Like, what? Like, what terrible plan?
Oh,
So
man.
American. So
Yeah.
it's
It's weird.
like, not only is it a betrayal of his friendship to
Mhm,
Rose, but it's just it's a betrayal of that entire indigenous group that has been protecting that area from time untold. Like, it's
mhm.
very upsetting, and I was mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear ya.
It,
Um,
it it made me think about when Hank, when they get on the helicopter and they're like, "Where do we go?" And he said, "Oh, just listen to him and follow him. Think of him as a human compass." And the fact they don't ask any questions, and I was just like, "Oh yeah, that's an army man." He just goes, "Yeah, okay, sure, whatever you
oh,
say."
man. Yeah, seriously. That whole sequence was great. I'll
Yeah.
talk about that more later, but,
Mhm,
oh, man, my number 1, I could roast this shit for days. The fucking CGI in the cemetery scene. Just there was so much, like, effective tension in that scene.
Mhm.
I thought the direction was really good. I thought there was a lot of tension. I thought it was exciting. The bad the horrible CGI just completely took me out of it.
Like, cereal box game. Like, yeah, it
I
was
felt like I was
weird.
in the Walt Disney World Haunted Mansion.
But
Yeah.
it reminded me of Ghostbusters. I thought it was so like the effects from Ghostbusters, which was 40 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
It's weird
By the
because,
way,
sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to share, speaking of Ghostbusters, I just thought I'd share a cute little story. We were on Halloween, we were sitting on the porch passing out candy to kids, and at one point, someone drives by with the windows rolled down, blaring Ghostbusters. I just thought it was so funny. Like, this person's really into Halloween.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 1984, I had a cassette that was like hits of the year, and at the end of it, it played Ghostbusters and then Thriller, and I always was like, no, it should be the other way round so that we can get rid of the ghosties from Thriller using the Ghostbusters.
Oh my gosh.
You're jumping the gun. There's more
Yes.
schools coming.
So funny. Yeah, but yeah, it was bad. I mean, it just I can't say enough terrible things about it, honestly. It was unintentionally funny.
Mhm.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
literally laughed out loud when when Ghost
Yes.
Susie popped up on Mike's Mike. Why do I keep calling him Mike? On Will's on Will's bike, with her arms around him. I laughed out loud. I literally laughed out loud when I saw that. I can't I find myself constantly referring to Will and Leroy as Mike. I'm so familiar with Mike Hanlon that it's just like, "The Hanlon." I just wanna call it's a male Hanlon. I wanna call
It's
him Mike.
obviously because they all look the same to you, Kelly. We all
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's it. That's totally it.
Sorry. That's the 8 pounds of Dayquil talking.
Oh, man. Um, but, all right, let's go to our top 5s. Dawn, why don't you start us off with your number 5?
My number 5 was Lily and the housekeeper of unknown name. um it was so short, but I was like, I felt like it filled in a lot for how Lily had coped when she was in the asylum before, and it showed that she had someone in her life who was listening to her, that she could be open with, and I just felt really happy for her. I wish there'd been a lot more of it, and that we, I'm presuming we'll get more as the season goes on, but I just thought it was a nice little moment of brightness, because everything that we've seen of poor Lily has been
Oh,
torture and awful.
no. Yeah.
So I
That
was so
poor
glad for her.
kid.
Yeah, so I was so glad for her to have a little bit of happiness and someone who she can trust.
Yeah, I hear ya. Jazz, what
Mhm.
about you? What's your number 5?
Um, I really in my number 5 is the little moment between Ronnie and Richie and Will, where he's like, "Well, he obviously did it. This is America. You just can't lock people up." And Will's like, "Are we talking about the same place?" He's like, "Testify." That's so real.
Yeah,
Um, it was just like cute and funny, but also very very on theme
yeah, yeah, for sure.
for both the
Alright.
show and then the rest of American history.
My number 5 is the conversation I kinda mentioned it earlier, but the conversation between Fuller and Shaw. Um, I just think it's super interesting that Fuller knows as much as he does, and that he's on board with this, and that he's not just looking at Shaw like and that Shaw could even, like, feel like he could talk to him about this. So, I really wanna know more about Fuller and what his connection is to Derry, and if he was, like, if he maybe I'm assuming that he's originally from Derry and he had an had an encounter with it when he was a kid. Um,
I,
but,
do you think Shaw has told him the significance of the catapult, that it was his, or do you think he thinks it's just um like the military or whoever just thinks, oh, he's come across this, he's been told this was used against it, or do they know Shaw's full history with Derry? Because
yeah,
because if he
know.
didn't remember everything until he came back, do you know what I mean? If he
Yeah,
was sent here, he sent to Derry first, and then it all flooded back to him.
I can't see Shaw just, like, filling him in on everything once he
Mm.
remembered, and then Fuller is just like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, that sounds totally believable. Yeah,
Yeah.
we gotta talk about this." if the whole thing is like it, nobody in Derry is supposed to believe that shit.
Mm.
Like they're almost incapable of believing stuff like that. But Fuller is going along with it. So Fuller has to have encountered it when he was a
Mhm.
child at some point. I really want to know more about him. I'm hoping that they explain more later. I liked them talking about the the Bradley gang massacre with the car because
Hmm.
that's super interesting to me because they like what happens when there's a major event like that, a major violent event like that is they clean it all up, they cover it up, um, they forget it never happened, and that's it. But with them digging up the car, they're having to address
Mm.
this.
Hmm.
So that's going to be super interesting.
That car was buried deep too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole town just got a hole together.
Yeah.
Lord. At
Um,
first, when I saw it, I thought it was the car from the opening
Yeah,
sequence,
me too.
um,
but it was not.
yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know what happened there, but obviously it's, they're kind of teasing what's gonna be in season 2 there. But it's just really interesting to me that this stuff is being addressed when normally Derry does not address history. Like,
Mhm.
they just completely act like they wipe it out of their minds and move on. So yeah,
Like a
that's
year, right? It seems like they just get whatever year they're currently in, and then it's gone.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. The other thing is like what I've also been paying attention to is it's been raining in like was it both episodes or just last episode?
I can't remember.
Both.
Okay. Yeah, it's been raining a lot. And that to me says that they're definitely gonna close out this cycle with a flood that's gonna end up killing a lot of people because that's kind of what happens at the end of the cycles. It's like the town floods and then it rebuilds better than ever. It's apparently like, Pennywise is just like, all right, I put you guys through hell.
Build
I'll
a
let you flourish
statue of
for
a
a while.
fatted calf.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but, all right, Jazz, what is your number 4?
The whole helicopter scene, particularly when he's down in the sewer and the like dance a jig. I was so hoping we were gonna get a little Pennywise river dance in there.
Oh my god. I can't with
And
that scene.
it's so weird. It's so weird and funny. I love that Bill Hader makes fun of it in the second movie.
Yeah,
That was pretty funny. But
yeah.
the like I love the way they did the like floaters. Yeah, I thought it was really cool, the like navigating and him trying to jump out of the plane. Like the stakes were high. It was a really neat scene. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was super intense. Um, Don, what about you? What's
Yeah,
your,
mine is pretty similar. Is the way that they created the idea of Dick turning the big wheel to get out of the sewer, but turning the thing that opens the door on the plane. I thought that was clever because it was the opposite of what I was complaining about with the cameras, where you write something and things behave. It was like those are two real things that you would really have in those situations, and they connected it in such a clever way that he was putting his life in danger by opening the door, trying to escape one, but by trying to escape the plane he would die. And I just thought that was a really clever link into the Pennywise's world and the real world, how Pennywise was cleverly manipulating his brain into him doing something that would hurt himself. And I loved the visual of the bodies as well. That was just
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Ooh.
My number 4 was, this was in your list of, in your bottom list, Jazz, but, I actually, aside from the whole, like, the whole freak show thing, I actually really liked the carnival scene, um, mostly because of all the little Easter eggs.
Mm,
Um,
Oh yeah.
it's
yeah, it's
we got another turtle sighting, the
yes.
turtles in the game thing.
Mhm.
Um, and we got the Pennywise trailer. Um, and we also had that clown that was sitting in the background that looked
Yeah.
exactly, it was a female clown.
Female, yeah.
I'm wondering if that was Pennywise's daughter. I also liked that there was a guy at the carnival that was walking around with balloons, um, that were like, they were like yellow and green, I think, or just maybe they were all yellow. Um,
Mhm.
so I feel like maybe that was a sign that, that Pennywise was not, that it was not active
Mm,
at that time.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
Um, yeah. So that would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that, if you've watched the 2019 film, then some stuff about, um some more stuff about Pennywise that I won't bring up here, if but I'm thinking there could be a connection there, and why this clown looks like Pennywise. And
Mhm.
same exact makeup too, like the exact same makeup.
Do,
So
is
that was
there? Do they explain why he like chooses the Pennywise visage so much?
no.
I've always been curious about that because he can be literally anything, but he just seems to really like hanging out in this
Oh, no, yeah, it was,
round body.
yeah, actually, it was because Stephen King, um, felt that clowns were the most effective thing for scaring children.
Mm,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
This
I was
is
terrified of clowns.
That's not a clown gift at all.
I was freaking terrified of clowns when I was little. Terrified. Um, okay, I just lost what number we're on. Are we going on to 3 now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
alright. Jess, what's your number 3?
Um, my number three is kind of tied into my number two, or sorry, my number four of the helicopter scene, but just really getting to see Dick use The Shining, and I love like the way they're portraying it in the show. It looks really cool whenever he uses it. Um, yeah, I'm excited to see a lot more of that and see like what the extent of his powers are and what all he can do because it's really cool. It's one of the most interesting things that's happening for me right now in the storyline.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear ya. Dawn, what about you? What's your number 3?
Yeah, mine's is dick related. Sorry, it's just be a
We
child.
love Dick here. We all love Dick here.
We love Dick
Yep.
about 60% of the time.
Yeah, it was the scene of Dick and Leroy on the porch, when Leroy says to him, stay out of my, I know it was you, and you were there when you attacked me in the night, stay out of my head. And the fact that he says, well, trust me, I know you're not somebody to mess with, which I thought,
Yeah.
yeah. I really liked that they have a read of each other. They know exactly who each other are. There's no pretense here. They're completely, but they have that sort of. It's like two superheroes, meeting and they're saying, "Look,
Yeah.
I know what your power is. I know what your power is. We should stick together here." So I
Mhm.
really love that.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, definitely. Jazz? Oh, wait, you
Um,
already gave your number 3.
yeah, I did
Yeah,
mine.
sorry. Yeah, my number 3 was, I actually really enjoyed the, I enjoyed the carnival, the cemetery scene other than the CGI.
Mhm.
Um, I thought there was a lot of tension, I thought it was very effective. Um, it was a fun scene. There were some things that, obviously I had gripes about it, but I really liked it. I thought it built tension very well, and I
The
thought the stuff.
ground crumbling and breaking
Yeah.
Mm,
apart was really cool.
that was,
Oh my
yeah.
god, and I
Yeah.
can't believe I bitched about the CGI without mentioning the Jesus statue.
That was my favorite bit.
Hilarious. Okay, this is, just a funny little, factoid. So, this is what's so annoying about being being how, like, being the kind of TV watchers that we are, who just, like, look at every tiny thing in the background and overanalyze everything. When the camera focused on the gravestone, I,
Mm,
of course, paused it, and I'm, like, Googling Theodore Burgess for, like, 20 minutes, and I'm like, "Huh, yeah, I got nothing," and then I play it, and then the gravestone crumbles. I'm like,
troubles.
"So that's why they were focusing on it." Nothing to do.
It's like when they focused on the license plate on the car in 1908. I was like, do I have to write this down? What are these numbers?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's gonna be
Um,
a test on this later.
Yes.
yeah, that was frustrating. Like, damn it, I should have finished the scene before I started Googling. But yeah, anyway, I liked the cemetery scene a lot, other than the bad CGI.
Mhm.
Um, Jazz, what's your number 2?
I know this has been on my list every week so far also, but the diversity in the show is so great.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people out there complaining about it, but they can eat it. We had a Santeria. When do you ever see that anywhere? Like I've only ever seen one other show even make a reference to it, and it was a joke. And like I don't know, I just thought it was really cool. I love that we're getting more into the indigenous community. I love that there's so much flavor and texture and roundness to the world of Derry. It feels very real,
Yeah.
and that is something that is missing from like almost every period piece.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Dawn, what about you?
Um, similar in the I'm talking about ethnicities, but what I really like is that they've shown how all these other ethnic groups have a connection to the spiritual and the otherworldly. Like, they've shown from with a Cuban boy, his story of how they, we contact the dead, or we have send demons against people. You've got the black southern talking about the southern connection to New Orleans and the dead and the witchcraft of that kind of place, and the um and we had even like the Jewish character, and they have the Kaddish, and there's a real connection. And every other ethnicity are so much more connected and aware of and take it as read that there is this other world and there is good and evil and all this thing. Whereas the white people are like, nope, don't, nope, 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 nothing
Yeah.
there, don't know what
Not
you're talking about.
happening. I don't see it.
I thought
I said
that's
this.
really,
Sorry, go
really
ahead.
funny.
Yeah.
I've said this a bunch of times for our listeners, and I don't want to keep repeating myself, but it's because I haven't gotten to talk to Don about it yet. And I feel like you only ever get three things in period pieces. You get no people of color whatsoever, period. It's just all white people. You get people of color, but they pretend racism doesn't exist and it's just
Hmm.
not a part of the show. Or it's about racial strife and it's like a civil rights movie or a slavery
Hmm.
movie. It's so rare
Yeah.
that a period piece fills out its world with people of different colors and religions, and it's given people a false sense of what the 50s and 60s, like the other
Yes.
time periods were like there were black people, there were Cubans, even in little towns in Maine. Like it's
Yeah.
just it makes the show feel so much realer to me,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's like I had an argument with someone online about the BBC show Merlin. I don't know if you watched that, where Guinevere was black, and people. I was arguing with this person who was like, "There weren't black people in England in those days," and I went, "What, in those days when Merlin was alive? You mean?"
Right?
It's got
Ever
magic
heard
in
of
it.
Spain?
But yes,
Like
exactly.
the
The
Moors
Moors, I was going to
and the
say, have you ever heard
Lutes.
of the Moors? Have you ever seen a Welsh person who is
Right.
clearly most of their genetics are not white? But yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And
People
that's
actually,
the problem with not doing like diverse casting and
yeah,
period pieces. It gives people the wrong idea of what times were
mhm,
like.
yeah,
And thank you, it.
yes.
Yeah, for sure. Um, my number 2, it was just a tiny little moment, but I when the kids were standing around waiting for Mike, there I did it. I called him Mike again. Waiting for Will.
Well,
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to write a Post-it note on my computer that says, "Will." I've seen the miniseries so many times and read the
Mhm.
book multiple times, and it's like the young Hamlin kid is just always Mike to me. Um, but, when they were waiting for Will, and, it looked for a second like maybe he wasn't gonna come back out of the cemetery, and then the camera closed in on Lily and Ronnie holding hands. Um, it was a really sweet moment because 'cause we're like, "Oh, they're friends again now." It was a sweet moment, but also right after they did that, Will came started
mhm,
coming toward the gate, and that I feel like that was I kind of a nod to when the Losers Club, like, they started getting frustrated with each other um, and they realized that they couldn't defeat Pennywise unless they were all united.
mhm,
Um, and I think that could possibly and that's essentially why Stanley killed himself because he knew that he would be too scared
Mhm.
and it would sabotage everybody.
mhm,
Um, and so I'm wondering if that happened, if they showed Will coming out of the cemetery right after Lily and Ronnie held hands. I'm wondering if that was if it was like
mhm.
I know it sounds corny, but if it was the power of friendship, you know?
Nice, I like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it was just, it happened in the book and the miniseries, so I feel like that might have been a nod to that in the thing. Um, yeah. Uh, Jazz, what's your number 1?
My number one was the opening flashback sequence outside the freak show.
Yeah,
Is there even a politically correct thing to call that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I hate saying it.
Sideshow.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah,
Outside of that, I really enjoyed the opener and the flashbacks later on, kind of explaining how people's memories work outside of Derry and stuff. It was a really well shot
Oh,
scene. I really thought like their little romance was cute. I loved young Rose. I hope they find other ways to bring her back in the rest of the season. Yeah, like that their little like 7-minute love story got me.
yeah, I hear ya.
And then she saves him.
Yeah,
She should
that
have
was
left him
sweet.
for dead, but good job, Rose.
That was sweet. Um,
I like that. Obviously, he was keeping secret his friendship with Rose from his father,
Yeah.
and let's assume that's because of racism, how they viewed
Mhm.
the Native Americans, but that he didn't have that. He didn't have any negative feelings when he met Rose, other than oh, I'm in love. And so I thought that was nice that whatever prejudices his parents held, he didn't at that time. It hadn't affected him, which was nice.
James
That's
Remar
nice.
has to be so happy to be doing scenes with multiple people.
Right? Where they can all talk to and look at him.
My number one is just Rose. Just if there's not a woman over 50 in a TV show, I don't care.
Yeah.
I need
Sounds
to have
like
I need
that.
to have a strong female, middle-aged woman in there to get obsessed over, and Rose is clearly it. She is just I immediately loved her. She's stunningly beautiful. She's obviously really powerful as a person, and yet she's just running the
Mhm.
shop. And she's got it all going on under the surface. She's the swan. It's all She's pulling strings, and she's auntie, and people come to her for advice. And I just was like, yes, this is a character. And then she has this interesting tie to Shaw. Um, I do kind of, I love a middle-aged love story, so there's a bit where I'm like, come on, Shaw, get it together
I
and
know.
have a wee
Yeah.
smooch.
And
And then
maybe
you
they
die.
still have feelings for each other. Like, why are you going to ruin that by fracking literal evil out of the ground?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Well, yeah, I mean, of course he doesn't wanna tell her because, like, what they're really doing because, she
She'd
she knows, like, she
she'd be
knows
like,
the
no.
danger involved in that. You're like, "What
She
the fuck?"
will stop him.
Yeah. Um,
Yes.
but, my number 1 was the whole sequence with Halloran, on the plane and him,
Mhm.
like, the plane turning into the sewer tunnel and coming across the Pennywise box, and then, like, the trailer opening and then Pennywise saying, "Who are you?"
Mhm.
You know, like, because first of all, he was an adult.
Yeah.
Um, Second of all, like, Pennywise would know that there was something different about him.
Yeah, he obviously senses something.
So,
Yeah.
am I interpreting this wrong? I always thought Pennywise could eat adults. He just preferred to eat children.
Yeah, I thought that as well. I thought it was his preferred choice.
Yeah.
I think he can only go after
If
people
I'm,
who.
if I'm remembering correctly, he doesn't need to eat human like flesh at all. Like he can just feed off of their fear
Here.
hormones or
Yeah.
whatever, but he just likes to eat people because he's
Yeah,
evil.
it's the fear is, like, what salts the meat, basically.
Mhm,
Mhm.
mhm,
Um, and, I think it's harder for him to appear to humans because in any of its manifestations, and I say he because Pennywise is a he, but
Mhm.
I
mhm,
mean, ultimately, it is either not a gender or is female
mhm,
because it was laying eggs. Um, but I
Mhm.
think, um, I think that it or Pennywise can only appear to adults who have encountered it before
mhm,
as a child, or perhaps an adult who's gone through a lot of trauma and
mhm,
has serious phobias, because that would be they'd be, more appetizing.
mhm.
Um, but
I I assumed as well that it was all. I mean, I know there's reasons for this in terms of making films, that you have kids of a certain age, but I assumed it's because kids were on the cusp of puberty, their hormones were raging, which made them even tastier. What a thing to say! But you know
Yeah.
what I
Next week, we'll be sharing our favorite kid recipe. So it's not bolognese.
If you don't
Okay.
have organic, kids store bought is fine.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I loved the whole scene with Halloran and the scene, like, I mean, he freaking opened up the hatch, and
Mhm.
thank God Leroy jumped in on time. Like, it was such a cool it was
Mhm,
such a cool scene. I
mhm.
loved it. I thought
Mhm.
Dick remains my favorite part of the show.
He's
So cool
very
seeing him.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Chris Chalk is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I mean, I've talked about it before, but Dawn, have you ever seen When You See Us or When They See Us?
No, no.
Um, it's so good. It's about the Central Park 5.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Um, and he's in that.
Mm,
He yeah, he plays one of the roles in there, and he's great in that too. But yeah, he's so good in this. I love him in the show. Um, but I want to throw out a little theory that I have,
Mhm.
and it is based on the trailer, which I rewatched the other day because I wanted to like hadn't watched it in a long time, and I wanted to see like what because we've seen the first 5 episodes, and I wanted to see what was in the trailer that we haven't seen yet.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if they may not burn the black spot down,
mm.
and instead the high school's going to burn
Oh.
Oh.
because so at one point we know that the patty cakes are in the deadlights because
Oh.
we see them in the trailer, like, all deadlighted out. You see the whites of their eyes, um, and there's another shot in the trailer where a bunch of kids are banging on a door trying to get out, and it looks like it could
Ooh.
be the gym.
Ooh.
And I'm wondering if I don't know how I would feel about that if that's the case.
Hmm.
I mean, especially if they're introducing the League of White Decency. Um, 'Cause
But
it seems like such an important part of the story.
Mhm.
but could
Um,
that be if they're hoping to do more seasons, that they're building up another season to the black spot being burnt down? It's like the end of Welcome to Derry, if you know what I mean.
well, the black spot is supposed to be in the first well, it's they're building up to the black spot, but
Mhm.
in this season. Um, but I'm just wondering if nothing will happen to it, if or maybe both will get burned down, maybe the black spot and the school. Um, but season 2 is gonna be set in the 30s,
All right, okay.
and that will be the Bradley Gang Massacre, and then
Yeah.
season 1 will be 1908, which is the Kitchener Iron Works explosion. Maybe Dick somehow interferes in trying to stop the black spot from being set on fire, and unfortunately, like, the consequence is that the high school burns down instead. Um
Maybe those dark room chemicals explode.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, I think but I think, like, between the patty cakes being
Mm,
trapped in the deadlights and the kids all trying to get out, I think that something's gonna happen at that school with Pennywise.
yeah.
Pennywise is gonna show up at the school. Regardless of whatever happens with that, I have a sick feeling that Leroy might actually not survive the season.
Mm.
Really?
because
I mean,
he's kind of presented as almost invincible because he doesn't have any fear.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's so that they can catch us off guard with his death.
Mm.
I don't know.
He might have the sort of last heroic death because he'll be the one that isn't afraid, so he can get closest to Pennywise without any effects.
Yeah.
no.
I mean, in the black spot fire, both he and Dick are there, but Dick saves him and the two of them get out.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I would hate for them to kill him off that way, but I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I The one thing I am really excited about though is I'm looking forward to getting more from Charlotte on her like activism and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, because I think she's gonna really piss some people off in Derry, and I'm excited. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. I
um,
want to see her and Rose teamed up, taking on the white man that are
yeah,
standing in the way.
yeah,
Taking
seriously.
all the bus seats.
Yes.
I also feel like I'm also looking to get to see more of Masters because I still feel like Dawn, I talked about this on our show
Mhm.
last week, but I feel like I mean, yeah, the whole thing was set up um by Shaw, but that I think that Masters wanted to take the fall for it because he's scared.
Ooh.
I
Mm.
think he I think he's scared. I think he knows about it and he's scared of it. So he wants to be stuck in a cell off outside of Derry on the loose, you know?
Yeah. Smart man.
Um, Either that or it could be like a Henry Bowers thing where Henry's biggest fear was losing control. And that could be the issue with Masters too, where he worries about what he might do because maybe he's part of the League of White Decency and maybe
Mm.
they let him out and
Mm.
he leads the charge to
Oh
burn the
yeah.
black spot, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so it could be one of those 2 things. I don't know. But Masters doesn't see like Henry Bowers was violent and just a horrific bully, but he still had like you could still sense that he had a lot of fear.
Mm.
Mhm.
Masters doesn't seem afraid of anything.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
so I'd be surprised if you were actually afraid of losing control. I would think that he'd be all for it. Um, but yeah, I think he's trying to protect himself from something by wanting to be locked up, especially since the base is technically
Yeah.
outside of Derry.
Outside. Yeah.
Yeah, because it can't leave Derry, so he's safe there. But yeah. Did you guys have any other thoughts that you wanted to add before we get out of here?
No, I don't think so.
All right.
I'm so excited for next week.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, episode 4 was such a good episode. I'm
I,
it,
I think it's my favorite of the bunch so far. 4 and 5 both are just so
yeah,
good. I can't wait to talk about them.
same. Um we are we did not have our after show this past week. So, I'm sorry, we're a little behind
Yeah,
right now. We're
I was
doing
dead. Sorry.
Jazz is dead, and I'm having trouble suddenly now with Sunday nights. It's kind of a rough scheduling thing for me because I have to be up really early on Mondays. Um, but we're doing our live this week on Wednesday night for episode 3. We're gonna have our live after show Wednesday night. So it's already up there. The link is already up on our channel. So make sure that you you can click to be reminded and just make sure you subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. Dawn, let people know where else they can find you.
You can find me on itscustardtv.com, where I do reviews and write written and on the podcast, and on Made for TV, MAID, where we talk about women and underrepresented groups in television.
And you can catch me and Jazz right here.
Most of the time.
Um, also, we just started doing our From season 3 rewatch in anticipation of the new season. So our first episode will be posted within a couple of days. So look out for that, and then those will be coming every week. Um, and if there's something you'd like to, I'm planning a content schedule for every single day in December with character deep dives and tropes, examining tropes. If there's something that you would like us to cover in the month of December, please leave us a comment, and we'd love to hear your suggestions. All right. Until then, we will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.